Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to the Daily Live, Monday, the 4th of March. How are you, Pedro?
We're here again, aren't we?
We're here again. Here again.
Here again. Home game. Missed opportunity. And, that'll be 3 home wins all season.
April, the next time we play at Goodison Park.
3 home wins.
Yeah, it's awful. There's no other way. There's no way down it. It's awful. Home form is dreadful. And I don't. And what do we? How do we change it? Is the thing. I just don't know. The manager doesn't seem like he can get a pattern of play going at Goodison, but on top of that, the players are missing opportunities to win games and not even defend. You know what? You can almost. If you build something that is based on your defence, and your defence does its job, then we would have won the game anyway, even with all of those chances being missed, because we were winning. And yet we can see the 3 goals at home to a team that causing no real threat in that game. We're winning 1-0. You know, what minute did Zuma score in? 70th or something, was it?
6 minutes after we scored, wasn't it?
You know. You can't keep a clean sheet from a winning position, but then you built on that. And there's issues there, isn't it? You know, the second goal was embarrassing because we don't close the cross down and we don't close when Souček pulls the ball down. Michalenko stands off him and Dwight McNeil doesn't do anything, just stands there. The pair of them, instead of getting tight to him. The third goal is what it is, James Garner. Shocking bit of play from him, but the game is over anyway, so that goal's irrelevant almost. But if you're built on defensively being strong, it negates the chances you miss. But by the same token, Dwight McNeil's missed an open goal at 1-0. Other players have made awful decisions when he got in the final there. Jack Harrison had twice we've had shots that the keeper's parried out to him, and he's been in a wide area, and twice he's just hit across immediately instead of looking up, and he had loads of time to pick someone out. And yeah, we're back where we are, and I don't know. I don't know where. Like, what do we do? Do we just keep doing what we're doing and hope it breaks for us? Because that's all it seems like now. We're just living on hope. And there's only one player missing Saturday. Really, and that was Idrissa Gana Gueye, and he's not exactly
Which turned out to be a big miss, actually. Because if he could have come off the bench even. And
it was a big miss.
And added something late on and been a bit more...
He's not goals, though, is he?
No, but I mean, at 1-0, he could have added something and been a little bit more... added something to the defensive setup. But no, it was I didn't actually mind the way we played Saturday because I thought we tried to do something a little bit different to what we were doing. We weren't particularly good at it, but I didn't mind the scene not just pumping the ball long, because obviously we'd bring them better when you don't think that would work anyway. So I didn't actually mind, because the way I looked at it was, we're gonna have more possession in home games this season anyway. So if you're going to have the ball, do something with it. So going 1-0 up, we deserve that, and we've just thrown it away. And in the last week now, we've thrown 5 points away. Should be sitting here on 30 points at the end of the week, feeling quite comfortable about where we are in the Premier League, without having to look over our shoulder and having to worry about other people's results. We should be sitting here thinking, you know what, a couple of more wins in those games and we'll be fine. Or even if you got 6 draws, we'll be fine with that. And making that gap between us and Luton so big that they're like, every game becomes desperation for them.
Because we're going to have to be like 8 or 9 points ahead of them to fend off. I know we're saying, we're not sure it's going to be more than 3 points, maybe the next point deduction, but it could quite easily be 6 again.
Could be.
And therefore, we're going to have to get, do we really want to go to the final game of the season at Arsenal? Like, knowing that Luton can still stay, you know what I mean? Relying on Luton not to win or whatever.
I think the first thing we need to do...
We could have got rid of that, though. For
the next home game, I think we need to shoot into the Gladys Street for the first half.
Do you think? Just mix it up?
just take away that park end narrative of when score late goal. Because there's two ways of looking at Saturday, right?
I am fed up seeing people run away at the end.
So there's two ways of looking at Saturday. There's the fact that we as a team have not scored enough goals. That's plainly obvious. The XG and the strikers and everything. That's fine. We get that. We know players have missed chances. And it's not going to pay us back. And this is what I've been saying from day one, that it was never going to pay us back. Didn't matter how much the manager or any of the stat people wanted to tell me about XG. If you watch football and you know football and you watch footballers play week in and week out, you know it doesn't matter. If you've got players who can't put the ball in the back of the net, it doesn't matter how many chances you make for them. It actually just makes it worse for us as fans. And that's what it's been this season. If players are what put the ball in the back of the net, stats don't put the ball in the back of the net. Creating all these XG chances. You know, I had people telling me on Saturday that Beto's penalty was a good penalty because stats-wise it was 98%. And everyone with eyes knows it wasn't a good penalty. It was soft.
The goalie goes the other way. It looks a great pen. It
was soft, slow, predicted, and it went exactly where and the keeper knew exactly where it was going to go. That's simply because it wasn't a good penalty, and that's fine. He atoned for that by scoring a goal, and that's fine. But you can't tell me it's a good penalty just because spreadsheet tells you it's a good penalty, and that's the point. Is that
he normally hits his pens higher as well.
I wouldn't have had them on I wouldn't have had Dominic Calvert-Lewin on the penalty, by the way, on Saturday. I would have had somebody like Garner McNeil or even Tarkowski to just put their foot behind the ball. Someone where there was no pressure on, as in to score because they're relying on having to score a goal. I'd have just give it to someone who just is clean.
But he took them for Udinese and scored them.
No, I know, but he didn't. He
scored in that shootout against Fulham.
He didn't look confident like walking up to it. That's what I'm saying. You get your first penalty of the season, I'm giving it to someone who just knows how to smash the ball in the back of the net. The reason I said Taki was because of the penalty that he took in the penalty shootout. He just leaded it. He leaded it. And it was the one, don't forget, after Onana missed. So all the pressure was on him. But we can't put the ball in the back of the net, and so it doesn't matter how much your XG is. It's a great stat if you're a manager and stuff, and you can say, look, we're making chances, but people put the ball in the back of the net. But so that's one thing. But the other side of it is, that's I think now the 6th time this season that we have either lost the game or not won a game in the last 10 minutes. So that tells me there's a problem with fatigue,
fitness,
and subs
fit enough
in the last 10 minutes of games. 2 weeks in a row we've lost goals in after the 90th minute. It happens. It's happened far too many times at home, certainly, where players have been left on the pitch for too long, and players being brought on haven't been given enough time to get into a game. When you're a sub, you have to be given time to get up to the pace of a game. It's such an important part of football. It's why a lot of managers look for the 60-minute mark to make the change. They look at what a player's doing, and it doesn't matter about fatigue. It's about what a player can give you. It's not always about whether they're tired or not. It's about changing the way a game is played. And that's on the manager, or certainly on the director of football, for putting together such a poor squad. And these things are real. These are real things. I keep on hearing there's far too many excuses made for the manager, for the director of football, for the players. Far too many excuses are made for them. Oh, look at him! He's only got this many players, or he's only got this budget, or he's played X amount of minutes, or whatever. There's so many excuses given for these players and for this manager and for this director of football. That it drives you mental. Yes, we're not in a position like other clubs who have got money, but the managers had all season with these players to work with them, and I'll be honest, I've said it, I don't see lot of development from a lot of these players. The people on the bench, it's his bench, he picks them. They're there. If Dobbin hasn't improved, then that's on the coaching side for not improving Dobbin or whoever, or Dan Juma when we've had them all season. That's on them, and it's just excuses. But ultimately, forget the away form. Your home. You build a season on your home form, and we've got 3 wins at home, and I just find that disgusting. An absolute disgrace. I really do.
Sure.
I really do. Because that creates the culture of your club, because that's the majority. That's 37,000 people every single week that take that with them. Not, you have 3,000 who go home and away, yeah, and that's brilliant. That's absolutely brilliant. And a lot of they've got to see, but they've had years of seeing rubbish, and I appreciate that. But it's your home fans that take that in and out the ground every week where you're supposed to win, and it's just not good enough. And again, as I said, it has to be, and I think the manager would agree with me on this. It has to be the culpability has to be with every single person, not one person, not the manager, not the director of football, and not some of the players. It's all of them. It's all of them have to do better. Because again, I see this thing of he's got his 31 points this season. With Everton Football Club, 31 points isn't good enough. Forget about what the last fella did. Forget about what the fella did before him. 31 points is not good enough. You should be getting that at home. For a club like Everton Football Club,
yeah.
You should be creating a culture. If like you said before, if it's built on your defence, then you should be getting clean sheets. Shouldn't be giving soft goals away like we did on Saturday. No. Shouldn't be giving soft goal away like we did at Brighton. Jesus Christ, the big tall centre-back comes in at the back post and headers one in. That's poor, that is poor. So, these games again, and you can go, Dave Murphy, and thanks to Super Chat, says those drawn in by XG are being completely conned. Well, again, on Saturday, the XG, you're talking at like XG in shots. Well, the Gomez shots, like, they're not, you know what I mean? They're not. You've had instances this season where you'll have shots and then rebounds and then shots. It's like, it doesn't really give you the true picture, does it? Our football is rubbish. It's absolutely rubbish when we go long or when we go short. We have no patterns of play. We've been saying that all season. There's no real true patterns of play. So
there's no patterns of play.
Yeah, exactly.
Steve Williams, Baz, how can you say Beto penalty was good? Never said the Beto penalty.
Didn't say it was good. Just did he? Didn't say it was good.
I said Areola, and I think he's talking about, because I've seen this on the other one. He was put right by people in the chat on the other one, but he still obviously isn't listening. I said in my aftermatch thing, Areola made a good save, because he did. Because I was thinking, if a goalkeeper saves, it's a good save. Yeah. Doesn't mean the penalty's good. It means it's a good save. I never have just watched it again because I was thinking, did I say it? Just looked at it again. I never said Beto's penalty was good. If the goalie dives the other way, that goes in. People go, great penalty. Go and watch any of the old penalty take. Leighton Baines rolling penalties. Oh, what a pen. If the goalie had dived the same way, there'd been a terrible penalty. Beto hit the ball a foot inside the post. If you're going low, you've got to put it right in the corner. The goalkeeper dives the other way, we would have been saying it was a good penalty. Of course we would have. But I didn't. We would, Ned, we would. You can look like that all you want.
That way because goalkeepers read where you got to put it.
Go and watch the greatest penalty takers of all time, right? If a goal, half of them, the goalies go the way the pen goes, even when they're slow. People go, what a penalty that was, right? Because you've sent the keeper the wrong way. If the goalie would have dived that way, it'd have been an awful penalty. And that's the thing with penalties.
The goalie just stayed on his feet, didn't he?
The goalie done well. He looked at him. I just don't understand why he hit it on the floor. Because if penalties for Udinese and his penalty for in the shootout, he lifted it. So it's hard for a keeper. But I never said it was a good penalty, Steve. So I don't know what you're listening to or what your ears are telling you, mate. But I had no problem with him taking it because I looked around the pitch and went, who else? No one else wanted it. Everyone else put their head down and walked the other way. So there's no one else like going, let me take it. And he's a centre forward who was taking penalties. Obviously wants goals, doesn't he? I actually thought his one-on-one was worse when McNeil put him in. He should have blasted that past the keeper.
It's confidence. The pressure. It's the pressure of having to score at Goodison Park. That's the biggest problem. We don't have players who love pressure. We've said this for years. The reason top clubs do well, or certainly the players who go to top clubs, is they love pressure. They absolutely love it.
Nice one, Matt.
The likes of Tim Cahill loved the pressure. Playing and
we don't have them.
No, that's what I'm saying. We don't have those players. And they're the players who do get taken to the big clubs because that's what the big clubs can see it. We spoke about this last week, and you know, like at John Stones telling the park in to calm down. So us at the time, it was like you know, a boiling point. But that's like something, you know, you can see that in Brantwaite. He doesn't get flustered. He just plays the game. That's the difference. That you know, if you looked at a Dominic Calvert-Lewin, if you're a top club, you'd be put off by him that he doesn't rise to the occasion of games. Whereas like when we had like a Kale and people like that, they rose to the occasion. They loved going to an Anfield and an Old Trafford. I mean, Kale has scored the second most goals, I think, behind Dixie Dean at Anfield for Everton. I think it is.
It's probably only about 3. But
no, I think it's 5.
I remember he scored.
I think it's 5. I think, but he loved it. He loved the games. Old Trafford he scored. Stamford Bridge he scored. He obviously scored at the Etihad. He loved it. I think he scored at the Emirates as well. He loved it. And we don't have players like that.
No, there's no one. There's no players. And there's no. Listen, they're all talking last week with Tony Grant, who will be on Inside the Game, just about plays. And he was saying it's hard to play Goodison because you've got to be a special character. Because he said you can hear everything. So the crowd after, but he said that doesn't mean the crowd shouldn't be on your back. He meant this is Everton Football Club. So the players have to be able to take that on. It's a difficult one, isn't it? It's a difficult one because Conor Cody said it's like, you know, Everton are a big club, but when you play for other clubs, you realise Everton are massive, and not in a way of Everton are massive everywhere, which then West Ham fans with some of their 80s songs on Saturday were great. That one
I couldn't hear them.
No, they were singing "Sign On" and all that nonsense, which is just grim, isn't it? For like but anyway, that's by the way. The thing is, we are demanding in a certain aspect of it. But I was watching. I watched the other day some the Italian footy. Like the thing, he got battered. He got battered, and they had to go and stand in front of their fans. And while they got abuse hailed.
The German fella, wasn't there one in Germany where the ultra came on the pitch?
Yeah.
And dressed them all down.
I remember Carlo saying, "You think the fans are bad here? Are you messing?
Someone
messing?"
Someone said to me last week, I was talking to somebody, I won't name him, some about Mopai, and I said he couldn't handle the pressure of Everton. That's why he plays for small clubs, because he can deal with that. And I said, "What?" And he said, "It's not. He got destroyed by everyone was booing."
It never
happened. It never happened.
That's
and this
false
is what people who don't come.
well.
By the way, and I'm not having a go at anyone, but people who don't come to Goodison, that's what they always say. People who always moan about the atmosphere.
Jakey, as a team, no, we're not. We're insignificant. As a football club, we are massive within the context of it.
But,
we are.
But again, it's that thing of like people who don't come to Goodison just think they know the culture, and they don't.
Yeah, they don't have a clue.
But I said about Mopai going, "What do you think would happen to him in Italy?" "Oh, he'd be loved." I went, "You're joking, I said, some of fans who go to the training ground and burn out people's clothes and all kinds, and what they get in this country, and I'm not saying what that happens in other countries right or wrong,
acceptable.
I'm not saying that at all, but what they get in this country is nothing. No. You know, I put my video out and I've had heard a few people going, "Oh, it sounds like," why? Because a couple of voices at the end of the game are calling people out, and they'll never hear it. They'll never hear that. They won't hear that. They'll walk around the pitch and not going to hear. But at the end of the day, fans have a right. I don't care what anyone says. Fans have a right to voice their anger. 3 times we've walked out of Goodison Park in the Premier League this season, having watched the victory. 3 times.
Twice at them were in. 2 of them were in 3 days, though. 2 of them were in 3 days of each other.
While, by the way, you're being asked to buy another season ticket for more money, and you're getting like the extras of like your card. And there's a lot of people at Goodison Park who would go the match and not have a clue how to use the season ticket on their phone, by the way. And now they're being asked to pay a tenner instead of a £5, and all these things that get added on, and you're being asked, and the football.
Yeah, my mother-in-law's 88.
Exactly.
And she's got a phone and all that, but asking it, like, because sometimes the phones, it doesn't work. Everyone can dress it up and say, "No, it's sound." Just go to a cup game at Goodison.
Yeah. Or it's like a Wednesday night. It's like a Wednesday night in January or December, and you're messing around. All you want to do is get in the ground, and you're messing around with it. It's while a security guard's trying to frisk you on the way in.
We talked about it last week, right? Standards are getting less and less, and the fans have either bring them standards back up, or you get the team and the club you deserve as a fan base. And we have to remember that. And what I'm saying is we can't keep making excuses for us. We have to be better. We have to do better as a football club. This goes right across the club, by the way. This isn't to do with the manager or the players even. This is right across the club. We have to demand the club is better in every aspect. Because if we start going, well, we can't win because of this, and the manager can't do anything because of that, or the commercial team can't do better because we're not a big club, or we haven't got any money because we can't bring money in, or Sky don't put us on, whatever, or our stadium is this because of we can't always have that, right? We have to keep our standard as high as we can. Right now, we are underperforming. There's no excuse in any universe for a football manager to go 10 games without a win. Frank Lampard didn't go 10 games without a win. Rafa Benitez didn't go 10 games without a win. Roberto Martinez didn't go 10 games without a win. And all of the managers in between didn't go 10 games without a win. So we have to look at it and go, right, this isn't good enough. Doesn't mean you're standing there with Sean Dyche out banners. What it means is this is not good enough right now. 10 games, and the chances are, let's be honest, the chances are it's 11 on Saturday. Yeah. We're going to Old Trafford where we've won once in 30 years, right? So it could ease, even if Everton get a good draw at the weekend, it's 11 games without a win, right? So just to reiterate, it doesn't mean you're Sean Dyche out and everyone should turn up with them. What it means, there's nothing wrong with saying he's not doing well enough at the moment, or this player isn't playing well at the moment. Dwight McNeil's not playing well at the moment. He's having a tough time off the pitch. I get it, right? So the manager then has to make a call, doesn't he, and protect him a little bit. Jack Harrison isn't playing as well as he can at the moment. So you're nothing wrong with saying he can do better. Yeah. I don't think the goalkeeper's doing great at the moment. He can do better. They can all do better. Our centre forward hasn't scored in 21 games. Can Dominic Calvert-Lewin do better? Of course he can. He knows he can. Can Beto do better? Of course he can. So there's nothing wrong with going, these players need to do better. Otherwise, what we do is we shut up and don't say anything, which is fine. No problem with that either. But then we can't cry and bitch then away from the games and moan about the club. If we're prepared to go the match and go, these can't really do any better than that, then fine, that's okay. Well, then that applies to everybody in the club then. Because I'm sure everybody goes into work every day trying to do their best. But sometimes you have to go, right now, this isn't good enough. So it needs to get better. So you have to keep looking at things, ways to make it better. We've scored 29 goals from an XG of 41.5. We are massively underperforming. So that is repetition on the training ground then. How about doing these finishing drills with pressure on you rather than mannequins that don't move? Keep working hard. I'm not saying they're not. They might be doing hours every day. They might, but they have got to step up to the plate then. But if I was Kevin Thelwell, or if I'm Sean Dyche and I'm saying to Thelwell, no, the summer, mate, you better get me some players who can run, who are quick and who can score goals. So get your scouting team out and go and do it. Don't bring in looking for players like Neil Maupay in the Premier League because it's an easy one. When we could have had Gerassi, who was in France for 12 million, who's 6'3" and was the top scorer in Europe at one stage before he got injured. Go and think outside the box. Get some pace into this side. If I'm Kevin Thelwell on the other side, I'm saying to Sean Dyche, go and bring in an attacking coach as well. Bring another coach into your mix. You've obviously got the two lads you really trust and yourself. Defensively and structurally, in general, Saturday wasn't the case, but in general, it's all right. It's decent. It's good away from home. Bring in a new, fresh attacking coach who has maybe got ideas how to build patterns of play. Bring that. Why wouldn't you bring that into your coaching team? It's not saying you're not good enough. It's like give you a bit. You're doing one part of it really well. Let's do a bit that's massively important for all of us, is goals and winning games of football. Bring someone in to do that side of it. Because quite clearly what's happening right now ain't working.
No.
Is it? That way, what you're doing, you're building on top of whatever he's trying to do from a defensive structure. We've got to try things, haven't we? But otherwise, the games are just going, and we can all go, oh my God, we got 4 points back. But if we don't win games, it's irrelevant. The points, isn't it? It's going to be irrelevant because you know what? If we couldn't win games and we never had any deductions, we'd be in trouble. So, can't move away from the fact we've won. We haven't won since December the 16th in the Premier League. And it's March. We can't move away from the fact we've only won 3 home games all season. And the next time we run out at Goodison, it's April. That's a throat. That's relegation form. It's relegation form. It really is. So we have to demand better. You can't start getting all uptight over certain players, or you can't have a go at McNeil because he's having a bad time off the pitch. Well, not having a go. We're saying he needs to do better. He does. He does. The same as what, I don't know, James Garner coming out saying, oh, the fans shouldn't boo if it's bad the other week. Well, the fans are frustrated, mate, because this is 3 years on the run. We've been in a terrible position, and yet you're on the pitch with a shirt on who can affect it. We can't. All we can do is sing and support, and the fans do that. So we've all got to be together. It's difficult, but things like the ownership, the Premier League taking the piss, and they are. And I know there's a meeting this week and all that, and hopefully that brings it to a conclusion. But they've kept Everton dangling as well, and it is vindictive. They could have been done weeks ago, this, and they've just strung us along and to drag it out as long as they could to put maximum damage on Everton, because that's what they want. It seems like they're not happy with us, and it might be who our owner was, or who we had links with, or it might be because we spoke out against the Sky 6, or it might be because when they did do the 10 points thing, we kicked off and caused uproar for them. So their human nature says, right, we'll make it difficult for you. You're highlighting and booing and putting cards up and slagging people up. Right, we're going to make it difficult for you. It's like the penalty on Saturday. Parsons booed when they announced his name at the start. He gives Everton nothing anyway. Kurt Zouma puts a hand out. It's the most blatant penalty you will ever see in your life, and he doesn't give it. That was the easy one to go. No, okay, we wasted 31 games. It was a waste of time anyway. We missed it and lost the game, and apparently, when Everton have had penalties in 5 of the last 7, they've lost the game anyway. So maybe we don't want penalties. But that should have been an easy decision for him or the linesman to go, it's a penalty.
Ridiculous. And
it wasn't. It had to go to VAR, and he knew it because he stopped the game. He didn't wait for the ball to go out. No. He had to stop the game because the VAR were like, mate, it's a penalty. And I can see him below me looking at the screen, and he's looking as if he needs convincing. And they actually showed it on the screen at Goodison, didn't he? And everyone went off because it was embarrassing. It was a hand here, and then Zouma can do this all he wants. His hand was here. It was a penalty, and yet we didn't even get that. And you look at it, and you do start going and going, join the dots together.
Yeah,
it's vindictive now. So we have to we almost are fighting them now as well. And I think most of the fans have known we've been fighting them for a few months, but it's getting worse. And all they've managed to do is destabilise our football club by dragging a takeover thing along. If you're not going to accept it because they're not good enough, bin them weeks ago and give it to your journalists who you do. We've rejected them. Then everyone knows where they stand. The same with the points thing. You know, they'll be hoping that, I imagine, Everton and Forest take their punishment without an appeal.
Absolutely.
But do we not think now that Forest are going to go through an appeal anyway because Everton got theirs to do? So imagine they go, Everton, you get 3 points deduction, just say for argument's sake. Because I imagine if Everton gets 6 points, they'll be going through an appeal. I think that's already been said. So if they go, right, we'll give Everton 3 and they might just take that. So Everton, you've got 3 points. And we go, we might accept that. Forest, you get 7 points. What do you think Forest are going to do? They're going to go to appeal, which means it's going to go after the season, regardless. So the only way Everton and Forest say, go on and slap me on the wrist is if they give, I don't know, Everton 1 and they give Forest 2 or something. They might just go, yeah, okay, we'll accept that. And we'll go away, and then the season can be completed in a natural way. But I just think, because of what's gone on with the appeal and because they have been so vindictive and going after 10 points, maybe if they'd have just gone in November, it's 6 points because you breached. Everton might have just gone, we'll get on with it then, we'll crack on, and that's out the way. There mightn't have been an appeal. No, I know you wouldn't. I wouldn't.
I'd appeal it just for the sake of appeal.
But I think that's what's going to happen though. So that's where we are. So we are all a little bit, we are looking, I'm just reading comments, we're all coming at things from a slightly different angle. And I think the only way we move forward, really, genuinely, as a football club, we've all got to sort of try to come to almost a common ground. I don't know how we do it without winning games. I honestly don't know, mate.
We have to get through the season.
Yeah.
That's the only thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, we're in it, so it ain't going to change. It ain't going to change till we get to the end of the season, at least, and then we can make some important decisions. Don't know what those decisions will be.
We missed Duncan Ferguson.
I've just seen that comment.
I'm just asking a question, isn't it?
I don't know. People might roll their eyes at that kind of thing, but there is something about having people at your club that understand your club
And he was an attacker.
And can link.
That's a great minute at the weekend.
And can link stuff together.
Yeah. I don't listen.
I
don't know. I was just asking the question because it was there.
I'm not sitting here saying he wouldn't sit here talking about saying Sean Dyche has done a terrible job or anything.
No.
Like that. I just see a club that is just. I think we all know it's not like I'm making any kind of amazing statements here. I just see a club that just limps along from one thing to the next, and I could. It's a paradox, because I just think, could you imagine how dark it would be if we didn't have that stadium? But then you could say, well, if we didn't have the stadium, we mightn't be here. But then the thought of having to stay at Goodison Park for any longer, because I am absolutely over Goodison Park. I still don't get this narrative of like, I'm going to cry my eyes out when I leave. I just don't get that. The place is...
Yeah, but for some people...
No, I just don't get it. I don't get it. People can feel how they want. I don't get where all these boss memories come from, because I can't remember any boss memories till you have to go back a very long time for these boss memories. And I can't wait. I just can't wait to get out of there. I can't wait. It's dull. It's a dull stadium. And I can't wait to move into a new stadium. And that is the only bright spot on the horizon is moving. But I just see a club limping along, literally limping along. It needs probably 3 wins and 3 draws to stay up, I'd imagine.
12, that's 37. Do you think 31 points keeps you up?
I think they'll only take 2 offers on appeal. Maybe 3.
Hope you're right.
Listen, if it doesn't, it doesn't. And maybe I'm just thinking we're only going to get 12 points.
Was there 11 games left? Was there 12?
11.
Have we played 27?
Yeah.
Have we?
Yeah.
And
we'll have to just... But the good thing is Luton have played. No, Luton have got 12, haven't they?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, we're limping along.
Luton have got Palace away on Saturday.
We're limping along as a club.
And Bournemouth away and Forest at home.
Yeah. Jesus. Well, that's it. We could, by the next time we play, we could be very much
back in it.
We're limping.
They've then got Spurs away, Arsenal away.
Yeah. We're absolutely limping along as a football club. And apart from that stadium, I don't see any optimism. Even if we stay up, I can't imagine any next season's going to get any better. I really don't. I don't think there's going to be a lot of money. And we are just fighting fires for the meantime. So, it's not enjoyable. It really isn't enjoyable. And again, people can. The football Sean Dyche plays has to be winning football. It has to be, because it's not fun to watch. It's not entertaining to watch. So it has to be winning football. You can say this about anyone like Allardyce or Benitez or whatever. You have to win games of football. So to have not won since Burnley away in December is... I just think it's important. I think it's appalling. I think it's absolutely appalling where we are as a football club. And we have to just limp over that line. But there has to be really, really big decisions made this summer, but I don't know who makes them. That's the worry, because of where we are right now. That's the worry.
Dylan says if there was a sign of hope on any fronts, I think we'd all jump on board. But what is there to cling to? Jakey Boy says we can't sack the manager with 12 games to go, no board. No, I don't. No one's saying sack him, Hardy. You're right. Who would we get next? You know, maybe you get to the summer and then you make a decision. I don't know, but at least if you were making a decision in the summer, you've got a clearer idea, and it's less pressured, isn't it? Making it. That'd be stupid to sack him now, because who would you get? Do you know what I mean? And some people disagree with me for saying that. I know I've seen lots of people wanting them out, but I just don't know who you'd go and get now anyway. Where are we here? Ian says there was a video of the ultras at Lyon and they handed a guy a microphone and the fella told the team what the fans thought of them. You play for and wear the shirt of Olympic Lyonnais. And they had to stand there and take it.
Oh, I don't listen. We're not
saying that. I'm just saying that's how it is in other countries.
That's how it is in other countries. And
Martin says, Sean, since Dice has come in, he's improved. Michalenko, Tarkovsky, Brantwaite, Garner, Onana, and got Dom fit. We've improved as a defensive unit and have the most goals from set pieces. There you go.
Great.
There you go. There's a positive. Nick says, I was actually encouraged by Beto's performance. Penalty was too easy to read, however, and actually looked like a striker compared to Dom. Mind-boggling that he took him off. Yeah, it was mind-boggling that he took him off at that time. Brendan says, I cheered when Dean scored. This is Everton Football Club. Hate watching other teams. Wanting other teams to get beat when we should be winning our games. That's it. That is it. We shouldn't listen. I know it is where it is, isn't it? We're gonna have to do that because we can't do the job ourselves. We've just got to start winning, haven't we? Got to start winning. I don't know how. Like I say, I just don't know how we do it. That's the problem at the moment, and it might just be a lucky win, and that might kickstart us. I get it, but that needs to hurry up, doesn't it? Really?
Yeah.
Because it's just the longer it goes on, it's getting worse. Jakey Boy says it's starting to feel like spring 22 and 23 all over again. I think that's what it is, mate. We haven't had a year where we just have a fire break, and it's just a year where we're all right, you know what I mean? I looked at Fulham at the weekend. It's like, I know Brighton had loads of chances as well, but Fulham just like breaking and scoring goals are fun, and you're like, look at them.
We make
like
it so hard.
Yeah, scoring a goal seems almost impossible for us. You know what was lovely about Saturday? We scored a goal and I knew VAR couldn't do anything about it, because I seen where Garner, it was a brilliant cross from James Garner, and Beto, great run from behind the defender, great header into the corner, and I knew I could celebrate because I knew that they couldn't interfere. Those moments are fleeting now for us, where I'm watching players in other teams who we would have said that he's have, like Harry Wilson, have him every day of the week.
Yeah.
Cuts in on that left foot, it's a goal. We got nobody like that.
We said this loads of times. We blow up bang average players and make them.
Oh, we do. Yeah, we are desperate now as a fan base.
Like they're amazing when they're not.
Yeah. Nash says the sheer panic on the ball at 1-1 was embarrassing. Never seen professional footballers give the ball away so much. Needed someone to put the foot on it. Yeah, I mean, that's where we are, though, aren't we? That's where we are right now, I think. Dylan says, even if we stay up, we need to move Dyson in the summer. Thanks for the job you've done. See you later. And here, club Corin says the club needs a complete change from top to bottom. Try and be positive. Yeah. Carl says, has this been the worst season so far you can remember? No, it hasn't been the worst season. I'm not gonna. I'll tell you what. It's why it's been a difficult one, Carl. Because the last 2 seasons have been terrible, and that's been all basic. Has it been all the team? But it's been mostly the team, hasn't it? Just not being good enough. But we've been in this flux. And we feel like we've been on fire for 2 seasons. That Christmas time, when we got Benitez, Machiri basically started setting the club on fire by bringing him in. Everybody knew it was the wrong appointment. Everybody. And you try to make do with it, and the fans did try to get behind him at Goodison. He did early on, but it went sour very quickly. And then it blew up at Christmas, and Brands was sacked, and people went. And then Lampard come in, and we limped over the. It felt better because he wasn't Benitez, and he wanted to really do well. And we got to the summer, and then that started badly, and then the board did what they did, and it just feels like it's been on fire since, doesn't it? So it isn't the worst season, but the problem we've had this year is that there's been other things off the pitch that are making it even worse, like the points deduction and obviously the ownership nonsense that's gone on as well. So we don't feel like it, or it seems like we can't move anywhere. That's where I'm struggling with. We're not actually, do you know what I mean? There's not actually anywhere where we're going. We're just sort of in the middle of it, and the lifeboat's got a puncture in it. It feels like.
Yeah, it just wears you down, doesn't it? It wears everybody down to the point where you can't exactly put your finger on what the issue is as such, because loads of people will think that Dyche has done an amazing job, and to a point he has done.
Lee thinks he's done a great job. No doubt we want sexier football and higher ambitions once we get the new stadium ready and new owners. Till then, Dyche is the man. There you go, Lee. Sound, no problem. Everyone's got an opinion, haven't they? I certainly wouldn't be sacking him now. Just what could you do? Danny thinks it's the worst season by far. Dan says, I know it's easier from outside, but you'll be fine. Forest are awful and they'll go down with 6 points deduction. Yeah, yeah. But it's just, we're in it at the moment, I mean, New Ulster says also, no league wins when going behind. 25 games is a disgrace.
Yeah.
No desire at all. Yeah. Someone wants Graham Potter. I don't think, even if he'd come here, I don't think that's the right one for us right now.
Not right now. I think the club needs to be in a better place. But the thing about with Dyche basically is, there are reasons to praise him, the defence. But then, if he takes plaudits for the defence, then surely you have to look at him and say, well, why can't we score more goals? And he did sort of admit to that on Saturday after the match when he done his interview, going, we have to take accountability for this now, because it's you can be patted on the back for what you've done defensively in the away form, but at the same token, then you have to look at the opposite side and say, well, if you're taking praise for that, you've got to take you've got to look at the other side and go, you have not improved us in front of goal. You've known all season that we weren't great. You said it was going to pay us back, and it hasn't. And why isn't it paid back? Because players can't do what they're supposed to do, which is put the ball in the back of the net. And other clubs make it seem so easy. And it's that final thing. It's the final thing of putting the ball in the net, isn't it? It's not.
I watched West Ham on Saturday, and to me, they're just an average team, right? But I think that Kudus, I thought, was great.
Yeah,
although our players, the lad's he's all left foot, and yet no one thought to show him onto his right. But hey, I particularly like the one when he was on the floor and he got up and went through three of them. I thought that was great defending. Jarrett Bowen, brilliant, but didn't really do much at the weekend. Everton defended all right, but Moyes still had them flying forward and trying to get goals. And there's a difference. There was a way of playing with them where we don't have that. And that you can be structurally sound, but you got to have better players in the final third. And I know Kudus has cost money, of course, on all of that, but we've had money. Yeah, we spent 40-odd million in the summer, or whatever it was, 35 million on Beto and Schmidt. And I know we didn't, but we kind of did, because we'll have to pay that money. We got Jack Harrison in. The managers had players, but he's brought forward players in. So we've got to improve the attacking side of it. Yeah. Tony says it's all very worrying. Something feels different now. Watching all the fan channels, the whole scene shares a sense that we're finally really done this time. Well, we won't know. There's enough points there to steer away from it. And Luton are getting beat every week. No matter how much they're fighting and scoring goals, they're losing every game, aren't they? It's 4 home defeats on the run or something now for them. And if they can't win at Kenilworth Road, they're in trouble. But we can't win at Goodison.
Yeah.
And that's a problem. We could have put this to... If we'd have beaten Palace and beaten West Ham, we'd be 5 points better off, like you said before. We'd have been out of it. Even if we'd have drawn with Palace and hung on against Brighton last week, we'd still... And we didn't. We threw that away as well. We can't defend set pieces. It's just a fact. Our Premier member comments... Howdy to Gary. Bill says, happy Monday, lads. Sick of the hard luck stories. Yes, we made loads of chances, but we didn't take them, and we get punished. Again, we felt a bit when they scored. I was livid on Saturday because we threw away another chance to get clear and get a buffer. Now we're in a dogfight till the end of April, whatever happens. 3 wins at home and it's March. Sorry, despite everything good, the Dice is done away or defensively. That's unacceptable, whoever the manager is. I don't want him sacked right now. Generally, he's done decent with a thin, lacking squad. Without the deduction, we'd be fine. But the reality is we have one. So I want the players and manager to deliver because the clock is ticking and we have another charge coming. We need a buffer in case we need to start winning home games or we won't survive. Correct? Jake said, probably the worst I've ever felt about Everton in my life. No motivation anymore. I get back the car, piss wet through. Yeah, that can fuck off as well. Soaked after every bleeding game. Watching us sit in traffic, waste a day of my weekend and wonder why I keep doing it. If the new stadium wasn't on the horizon, I'd have binned off my season ticket. Jake also says Dobbins should be getting more time in the side because the 2 wide men are horrific. Be careful, mate. Can't say that. Myers says can't see where our next win is coming from. Feels like that right now, doesn't it? Listen, we might go to Old Trafford and win, who knows. Bill says also taking positives from Saturday, Beto for me deserves a run. Yeah, he's very raw and his all-round game is nowhere near Dom's, but he does cause more chaos than Dom, and he'll score more than Dom right now due to Dom's lack of confidence and lack of trust in his own body. Beto could be this year's Nias, you never know. Also, Garner, lovely cross for our goal. Could he be considered on the right at times, or even at right back when we need a better delivery there, assuming Seamus is not going to be risked? I would actually give James Garner a go right back. Ben Godfrey doesn't offer enough, sadly, down the right. And you need, especially at home where your full-backs are having the ball, and you need, because the cross was tremendous from Garner, it was. Martin says, after Saturday's disaster, I think reality really hit home for me that these players are worse than I thought. McNeil, Harrison, Beto, Dom, Godfrey and Garner are top championship players and nothing else. Their ability over the season has proven how limited they are. Actually makes it easier watching without the expectation of what they aren't. Once again relying on 3 worst teams and no more points deductions. Dan says, afternoon gents, such a sorry mess, isn't it? Felt so low after the game. How can we not score? No composure in front of goal. Got to start playing a right back. Why leave Zuma against Godfrey? Same as last week. Last week
can't
with
jump,
Dunk.
You just can't jump.
Poor management, that.
You can't jump.
2 weeks running there, best header of the ball. Tarkovsky's nowhere near him. Mark says we have to get Coleman or Patterson in the side. Godfrey's not done anything bad, but he's not an attacking option. We need to be clear of relegation with 2 games left. Yeah. Maybe you mix it up home and away. Maybe Godfrey does play away because he gives you that pace and he's defensively solid. And at home, where you've got more of the onus on you. Yeah. You use a Patterson or a Seamus Coleman or Garner there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'd get Seamus back on the side now.
Yeah. Harry says, don't blame the manager for Saturday. For me, that one's on the players. Bigger picture, though, how many games without a win can he go before serious questions are asked about his future? We all know the club's in a state. We should have more points than we do, and the squad has issues. But does that mean we can accept no wins for months on end? For me, if he gets 13, 14 games without a win, he's going to have to go. Who does the firing and hiding? I have no idea. We can't sleepwalk into relegation muttering we should have 31 points. There's no one to change it, is there?
No.
Mashiri doesn't care. See, the big thing is, if Mashiri was the owner, he'd have changed it by now. Because he's done it in the past. And I'm not saying he should change it, because now, to me, now would be reckless, I think, honestly. I do. I think sacking him now with 11 games to go, and I've seen someone in the comments say we get a new manager, bounce. But then what would we do? We'd go and panic a manager now. Then do we want that same fella in June? So I wouldn't be sacking him anyways. I'd be saying to him, bring an attacking coach in, mate, and start getting some wins, because he knows, doesn't he? He doesn't need to be told. He needs to win games. Steve says, afternoon, guys. I just wanted to say I was most disappointed with the display of Jack Harrison on Saturday. Every time he gets in a good position, he fails to put a good ball in the box. This has been happening all season. He should have been taken off after 60 minutes and Dobbin given a go. What are your thoughts on this?
Him and McNeil are rubbish. I don't know what more to say. I've never, McNeil to me isn't a very good footballer, and Jack Harrison isn't a very good footballer. They are what they are. They come in and they work hard. We've become a club that doesn't demand anything more than hard work. And these players are not good They're just not footballers that are going to take you up to the next level.
I just think they're not playing well. I think both of them have got quality.
Really, though? Have you?
Dwight McNeil's left foot is lovely when he's on it. He proved it last year, but the fact is, though, Ped, he ain't been on it all season, and we know that. I
just think he's just not a good footballer.
We know that there's.
I just don't.
He might not be.
I just don't think him and Harrison are good footballers. I think they are top level Championship footballers who can have good little runs in the Premier League, but I don't think they can. I think I've said it all along.
You've just said the word.
I've said it all
consistency.
Along. A player who can't play with any sort of semblance on his right foot, to me, is astonishing.
That shot in the second half.
It's astonishing.
I mean, he did kick it towards the goal. I mean, it's
astonishing.
Near the goal.
It's astonishing that a player cannot use his other foot. I think they're both very, very average footballers that are very, very lucky.
So would you give Dobbin a go? That's what some people are asking.
Unfortunately, I don't know if Dobbin's good enough, and that's the problem.
But he's quicker than the other two.
He doesn't get used though either, does he? He doesn't get used. The manager doesn't give him. Even if the manager looks at those two and thinks these are knackered, I mean, we went 2-1 behind, and apparently the manager's screaming at Dobbin to get ready to get on the pitch
in the 93rd minute.
What are you talking about?
There's 94 seconds. He might have got done something.
But why hasn't he been on the pitch already for 10 minutes? Like, he's so quick to get better off the pitch and get Dom on the pitch, and we see that role reversed in other games. And that's the most important position on the pitch. But bang average players get to stay on the pitch. And as I said, we are our standards as a club now are, well, players work hard. Isn't that their duty to work hard? Isn't that what you expect the minute they walk into the door? That's their number one thing. You work hard. Like, that's the thing anyone should expect of a footballer. It's the other things that you're supposed to, a little bit of quality to open a team up. Both of them have got little bits of quality, of course they have, because they're Premier League footballers. So they would have to have a little bit of quality, and we have seen those moments of quality. McNeil and Harrison has had a couple of moments, but they're not very good footballers. They're just workman-like footballers that have moments of something.
But that's maybe where we are, though, mate.
I know, but but that's fine. And I'm not arguing with that. It's the way people build them up.
No.
It's the way people talk about them. Like they're something, like they're amazing. And this is something I've never had with McNeil.
But people who talk them up, though, are they must be people who've never seen quality players.
Maybe.
That might be what it is.
But I just think we get dumbed down into footballers. I said it last week, and it's like, James Garner will never play for a bigger club than Everton. That's just a fact. He hasn't got enough in his game. Doesn't make him a bad footballer. It makes him an all right footballer. And again, if you put
better players around him, he might thrive.
You shouldn't have to put better. If you put better players around him, he shouldn't be in our team. Then that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but there is
a squad
within
player.
a team framework. There is room for those players, because not always the best. It's not the best 11. It's how you complement each other, isn't it?
No, I know, but
not enough is looked at. The scouting network, the director of football, not enough. Kind of like people look at those players. Then people should be bringing in players with pace into this team. Everton just haven't had pace
and
for
a higher
years.
ceiling. I've said it loads of times. One of the reasons we get so attached to mediocre players is because we know they ain't leaving us. That is just that is part of the fan base psychology. It really is.
Because we've been
I know,
beaten
but
down.
it is. It's part of the psychology of the fan bases. We get attached to players who we know are doing well and they won't leave us, and that's half the problem. I have no issue with players like Brandway who are going to move on because I just look at them and go, they're great for us. Now let's get the next one lined up, and let's get the next one lined up.
And they are there.
Of course they are
there.
And if you get enough of them, then maybe you get that situation where they go, no, I like it here, and we're a good
You start
side.
to build, don't you?
Yeah.
You start to build. Other teams have built. Fulham have built. Fulham are in the bleeding championship. They haven't signed anyone of note, really.
No.
Have they? And yet, look at them. Look at what Silver's
Built a
done.
good team.
Brilliant job. The players are out
Mathew
there.
on the super chat as we get into the final third and turn into rat.
It's the amount of times we go back the other way is incredible. It's just Dwight McNeil and even Michalenko. The first thoughts almost go back with the ball. Like Dwight on Saturday in the first half was almost hiding behind the defender. He didn't want the ball. He was actually more dangerous when he dropped into midfield pockets, like centrally. He created that chance for Beto. So maybe the manager needs to look at moving him in field then.
Sorry, Daz says this is the worst squad I've seen since 95-96. What? The 95-96 squad was
We
boss?
finished sixth.
It was a boss
We
squad.
had Andre Kanchelskis
I
and
think they might-
Anders
I think
Limping.
you
Do you
might-
mean 94-95? Or do you mean 93-94?
The 95-96 squad was brilliant.
Or do you mean 96-97? Or injuries? Or 97-98, which wasn't great?
You're just going through years here.
No, but I'm thinking in my head that like the two, or that's 95-96 was brilliant. David says, Jonathan says, I wouldn't be buying Harrison in the summer and I wouldn't be extending Dyche's contract at all. If we stay up, we need to go for a manager who has a way of playing and an identity.
I think what we need to do
we don't have one, and Harrison
I think what
works
we
hard.
need to do is, seriously, is get the structure at the football club right from the top. I wouldn't be worrying about the manager just yet. I'd get the structure of the football club at the top right. As you said, 94-95, we won the cup in 95. I'd get the structure of the top of the club right, and then it has to be top down. If we start down here somewhere, it's never going to work.
Well, this ownership is what we need. That's what we need.
We need to get it up there and it be top down and it run through the owner, the CEO, the board, the director of football, which I think needs to be looked at, then the manager, and then the players. But it has to be top down. There's no point going, getting this new manager in and then do this and do that. It has to start at the top.
That said, it was so long ago now.
Dates matter. Dates matter.
David says, surely we have to do something. Coaching or management. It's awful. Everyone is trained. Brian says, Saturday's the first game to make me angry. What the hell? This season. Having been behind Dyche and confident we'd easily be safe from the drop, now I'm not so sure. No idea why we're so bad in front of goal. It's like the pressure of scoring is snowballing. We're so desperate for a win, we're afraid of losing a lead. Patrick Ridge has done a brilliant article today on the Substack, so go and give it a read. It's really good. Sean Dyche's Moments of Truth, it's called. And he's just talking about the numbers and how we have to start turning their numbers, but it's really good. Go and give it a little read. There's loads of like facts and stats in it as well. Alex says game management and subs are awful. Cost us 5 points in the last 2 games. For me, we would have been basically safe. Sick of all that if we didn't have 6 points deducted, if we put our chances away, making excuses for the manager. We concede late all the time. Also, it needs to be spoken about how diabolical we are at defending set pieces. Seems like we concede one almost every week. City, Luton in the Cup, West Ham, all recent. In all of them, we've conceded from a set piece. Alan says try Harrison on the left, at least he'll attempt to use his right foot. Neil never attempts it. I'm surprised he hasn't given Jack Harrison a little go on the left, to be honest.
Options in it.
Mark says McNeil's attempt at shooting with his right foot in the second half killed me off on Saturday. Genuinely looked like when a toddler runs up to a ball to kick it. How can someone who gets paid handsomely to play football be so inept? Mathew Graham says at least Anthony Martial's back in training.
It's a positive.
Just in time for our game, yeah. Adam says it's crazy how many Saturday evenings this club has ruined in the last few years. I used to be able to laugh about it, but it does eventually take its toll. David Green says Keane up front, Pickford in midfield, sorted. Michael Keane, maybe it's his time.
Should Pickford on the pens.
Yeah, Pickford should have been on the pens, yeah. Bill says Beto shouldn't have been on the pens. The lad has barely started. It's too much pressure. Don't get why McNeil, Garner or Decore didn't take it, because none of them wanted it, I think.
I mean, I'm not going to start moaning about that.
Bill said Richie loved the pressure. He carried us on his back.
Richie did love the pressure. Yeah. That's it. Players, and that's why players want. That's why players leave, because they want the pressure. He was on to Trevor Stevenson here last week, and I saw him off camera and talking about when he did this documentary for BT about teams being out of Europe. And one of the things he said in the documentary was, when we got banned from Europe, he was watching players playing in Europe, and he was just like, you suddenly found yourself literally in a box, and we're playing in all these meaningless trophies and whatever, Simo Cups and that. He said, I'm watching people playing in Europe where we should have been, where I'd already enjoyed success. He said, the moment that happened, the team just wanted to go. Any footballer wants to play at the highest level. You've already conquered this level. You want to go on to the next level. So if you're playing, we as fans think, playing for Everton, blah, blah, blah. It's like, players want to test themselves. They want to go and play in World Cups. They want to go and play in the Champions League. We watch it and go, that Champions League crap, blah, blah. Football's, it's like anything you do, isn't it? Any person, they get to in any job, want to go to the next level and the next level and next level. And footballers are no different. And you enjoy the pressure. You enjoy getting to cup finals. You enjoy playing in big games against big clubs. If you're playing at Goodison every week and you can't handle that, then what does that say about our players? And I reiterate all this all the time, and I know people have different opinions, but my personal opinion is that if you can't handle playing at Goodison Park, then you should not be playing for Everton Football Club. Whether it's right or wrong that you get booed or whatever, if you can't handle that pressure, you should not be playing for our football club. And I've said that about some of our players, the way they sheepishly go round the pitch. I said this last week about Mopai not being able to handle the pressure. It's great when you're playing for the Brentford and everyone's dead sound and you're playing at the community stadium and all this. When shit gets real at Goodison, that's when players, you suddenly realise whether a manager or a player can take it. And we've got too many players who can't take it, and it's as simple as that.
George GTTV says, moan. Give Dyche a proper go of it. Nobody else is interested.
I mean, he's having a proper go at it, isn't he? I thought, anyway.
Here
we go.
Yeah. Where are we? The Blue says, whoever takes that pen, we moan about it.
No, if they score, we don't.
No, well, that's what he's saying.
That's the ultimate, isn't it?
No, that's what he's saying.
No one moans if you do your job. Your footballer's job is to put the ball back in the net.
The Blue says, Ped, we've only got about 5 players you can take the pressure,
I don't even think we've got 5 players, mate. But that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is when you buy a player, you look at the mentality of them. How have they handled?
Yeah, but I think if Everton done things right and we brought in the right types of player, our fans are waiting. Our fans are desperate to get behind someone players. And go, I love this player. It's why we idolise players.
Psychology.
Other clubs would laugh at the players we idolise. Yeah, they would Liverpool fans laugh at us. They'd laugh at Richarlison. We loved Richarlison. Yeah. They laughed at him. They were like, are you messing? He's your... Yeah. No, they've got...
Psychology is such a big part of it, because you can look at 2 players and you can say, well, he's got these attributes and he's got... I'm sure managers will look at it and go, yeah, all right, let's have a look at how he did in the big games. How did he do in those big games? Did he play up to his level? Or did he suddenly drop off? We often talk about this players who's done it in the big games and who hasn't done it in the big games. Have they stepped up and done it when the moment? There's been things about like Harry Kane for years about being a player who scores goals, but when it's actually mattered, cup finals and stuff like that, what's he done? Where's he been? Now, I'm not here to argue that case, but that's something that's said, isn't it? And there'll be stat about other players, like when they're asked to step up and do it in the big moments, that's what might stop a manager signing that player going, we're here to play in cup finals and big games and high pressure games. You know, Liverpool play City on Sunday. You know, there's 11 players on both sides who are going to have to be amazing, and those young players who play for Liverpool and City, those players are all going to be at it. Because if they're not, then that one player might cost their team the title. Imagine that pressure, and yet every single one, I imagine, will go into that going, I can't wait.
Well, if you've got a good, a good mindset, you thrive on it. They're the moments you want. It's what you're in football. Well, it's what you should be in football for. You shouldn't be in football to go, nah, what's the point? Stan says, all right, lads, the facts are Sean Dyche, not good enough. This team, not good enough. Fair play. James says, Bill Kenwright, let us get to this standard. It'll be nearly 4 months without a win in a 10-month season. Matt says there's far too many apologists in this fan base that tell you this fella is doing a great job. It's utterly embarrassing. Gary says we really can't do anything until we get the ownership figured out. Correct. Maxter says, regarding fans in Italy, remember when the Napoli Ultras presented the manager his car engine back for winning the league? Mike says he thinks 777 will look at Dyche's home record and replace him before the end of the season. No, I doubt it. They'd have to get him first, but I doubt it. To me, it's too much of a risk replacing him now. It really is. If you really want to look at him,
there's no candidates
over. Like, if you want to look at him objectively, do it when the season's over, and then decide whether he goes or he doesn't. You should always have Everton should always have a list of managers who they're looking at anyway at all times. Even if Dyche was winning every week, they should have a short list of managers to keep an eye on. That's how a normal football club runs. Paul says, how come Keith Weiner seems to acting like he's in the know and talking about Everton's takeover being hijacked by other interested parties? He's always on that Football Insider podcast. Don't know, mate. Well, if it's getting hijacked, they need to hurry up, don't they? No point sitting in a van outside going, when should we hijack it? Bill says depression, what we've become. Everton Viking says it's all a load of crap. I'm tired of certain people bending over backwards to make excuses for this manager. If it was Benitez or Lampard, they'd be getting absolute belters with the points deduction or not. The points deduction, if anything, has let Dyche get away with things and been given a massive sympathy card. The football is absolutely garbage. He doesn't know how to win games, goes into every game hoping for a draw or a bit of luck. It's dire. He isn't doing a terrible job, but he isn't a miracle worker. He's doing the bare minimum. Okay, Mark says, I went through the fixture with a mate. I reckon we will get 10 points maximum. Mark also says, bring me Lopetegui. He walked out of Wolves because they wouldn't give him money, didn't he? Everton Viking also says, fellas win record in general is absolute garbage, and our McNeil somehow starts every week despite giving some of the worst performances I've seen in an Everton shirt is mad. The fact he passed the ball out for a corner for them in the first half, for them despite being hardly under any pressure. If that was Dan Juma, he'd have taken him off at half time. He picks his favourites, set up his in-game management, all needs to change. Jay says we probably deserve to go down 4 seasons of this with no improvement. Well, it's 3. Can't have any complaints if we do. Hopefully Moyes is a free agent in the summer. Everton Viking says he says subs don't make a difference, yet historically his team's second half of the season are utterly terrible, and it's proven to be the case here. Bill also says 3rd season in a row we've gone on a long winless run. Yeah, not this long, no. Benjamin says Dyche probably needs to go at the end of the season, but in all honesty, I don't know who comes in. It's an utter shambles. West Ham are 15 points worse off from last season. We should be beating them at home, end of. G says I'd swap Forest's forwards and creative players with ours without a shadow. McNeil, Harrison, Garner, Decore, etc. are the poorest bunch of creative players in the league, in my opinion, apart from Sheffield United's. Rob says, get Dyche out now. Can't believe anyone still backs him. I never wanted them to begin with. Would rather have Big Sam till the end of the season. Frank was hounded out for something similar. I've given up watching him now. I can't take it anymore. It's not helping my depression. Bill says, Dyche is a relegation expert. Ultimately sacked him for someone with no experience. Likely would be more insanity. We're crying out for pace. I give Dobbin a go, even if it's, as you say, off the bench. Harry says no pace in the team. Most will be decent in the Championship. Others will move on. And Jay says, so hard at the moment. Every week is the same, and it's driving me mad. I think it's driving everyone mad, mate, to be honest. Right, that's us done. We're going. We've got to go and talk about that defeat at West Ham, but we're going to be on more than a game of art too, talking about the rest of the Premier League, where there was goals in attacking football and where teams losing didn't matter.
One of those things.
So stay here, because we'll be there in a minute when I've just topped up our drinks. See you in a minute.
Hey, you.
Bye.